like Protoss in Starcraft 2 is the race that can do all the aggressive cutesy tactics with being able to warp things in everywhere, and with stalkers with their speed early on and then with blink later on. I really think that there's a lot of fun stuff that you can do. And yeah, look what White Raw's doing, just getting the zealots out, being aggressive. Yep, here comes the Roaches. Typical, ordinary, snordinary forge going down, and people make some cannons. And one thing that is obnoxious about Blistering Sands is you have to make 5,000 cannons because you have two entrances. You have to build these cannons here, and you have to build these cannons over here. And then you can do some fun stuff with your zealots, but they're kind of trapped outside your base. So it looks like White Raw is going for the target fire. Is he going to get that? No, looks like he didn't get it. Again, the point of this is not the boring beginning that everyone knows about. It's the cool, fancy stuff that happens afterwards. So what are we aware that our Zerg player is forced to do? Because you heard me say in Game 2, it's so important to note that I forced you to make all these Roaches, and the map is small, so I can abuse that with some Stalkers. Yeah. Now, what else does this sort of entail for our Zerg superhero friend? Well, it probably means we're not going to be seeing a lot of Zerglings with speed. That's one thing to note. And by the way, notice that comment I said? We're probably not going to be seeing a lot of Zerglings with speed. That is the sort of thing I do not expect you to just have the epiphany about in the game. That is actually be really unusual to look at that and go, well, I guess that there are a handful of key upgrades that he shall be skipping. But when you're watching replays, you need to just say these things out loud, because then you'll kind of go, oh, huh, yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, it makes intuitive sense that he wouldn't have Zergling speed, because he would have spent all his gas on these Roaches early, instead of on the Zerglings early. So, yeah, that makes intuitive sense looking at the replay, but it's kind of hard to discern that in the game, because a lot of the times you're just thinking about getting your own normal build up and running. But look at this by White Raw. Still on 2 gates. Oh, what is this? A Twilight Council. Ooh, Blink. That's pretty cool. So that's going to be pretty awesome. And also, since we don't have Zerglings with speed, what does this mean? Probably going to be up against kind of a slow army, and we're going to see the Stalkers with Blink abuse that kind of slow army. I always love this timing that Machine does, where he takes any early force he gets, kills the gold, rocks, and then expands there very early on. Look, even before his lair has finished, he gets that expansion. And then he's also getting the Hydralisk Den up. Very, very nicely timed economy by Machine. And the reason I'm talking about all this is to just point out that Machine is doing a lot of good stuff here, right? Oh, yeah, and now he's getting Zergling speed. It's going to be very, very late Zergling speed coming up here. Oh, and the Hydralisks are up. Machine definitely loves getting those Hydralisks. No speed for Overlords yet. Has even been researched. Doesn't look like it. Looks like he cut the Overlord speed so he could afford this bottom right one so incredibly quickly. Very, very cool mass expo style from Machine. That's always fun to watch. Upgrade also coming from White Raw. So he is getting the Warp Gates, similar to Game 1, but oh, he's getting this Blink Stalker, and he's getting a Dark Shrine. And this tactic is going to be so kick-ass. And a lot of it is going to work just because we forced our opponent to not be able to get his expansion up too long. He got too many Roaches up early. These Hydralisks are going to be a little bit late. Notice this entire style by Machine is kind of low on gas. He's very low on gas in general. Now it's slowly starting to stockpile, but no gas upgrade with the Ventral Sac or the Overlord Speed. I don't see any Evolution Chambers anywhere. This is pretty much a mineral-focused build, and as a result, we're not going to see that many Overseers, and it's going to be very difficult for White Raw to be able to cover, for Machine to be able to cover all the possible ways that White Raw could pop into his face. So Blink is almost done. Yep, there it is. So White Raw, shink, ends up popping down here. Come on. Now, I'm not going to lie. Given the time it takes to cross crosswalks in Los Angeles, I genuinely wish I had Blink on the way to class. Because seriously, no matter how early I leave to go to school, I'm always 10 minutes late. Like 100%. I could leave like 20 minutes after the hour and I'd still get there like 10 minutes late. It's like so annoying. And here comes White Raw, is popping up here. Okay, cool. Now I'm starting to see some cool abuse tactics that we can see. It looks like White Raw realizing that his guys are getting caught a little bit off guard. So notice not a lot of Zerglings. You heard me say we are not going to see a lot of Zerglings with speed. And one might look at this and say, well, no, he just hasn't made any Zerglings with speed. But note that with this mix of Stalkers, or actually I should say with the pressure from the 2-gate early on, when you make any number of Roaches, you're pretty much guaranteeing that you're not going to be investing in any Zerglings. If for some reason I was going 1-gate against a Zerg, it's very typical for a Zerg player to get the speed for the Zerglings, make a lot of Zerglings, and then do stuff with those. Or if I'm going 4 warp gate on 1 base, I'm not even 2-gating at my outside my natural at all. If I'm going 4 warp gate in my base, that's another situation where you'll see almost every Zerg get Zergling speed and get a ton of Zerglings. If I'm going for 2 warp gate immortal push, you'll see almost every Zerg get the Zerglings and make a ton of Zerglings and Zergling speed. So ordinary. But with the 2-gate opening, especially when you're planted by your expansion, people will look and make the Roaches, and you're just not going to encounter that big of a threat of Zerglings. That's a lot of the reason why these Stalkers are so effective. And what makes this mid-game tactic, I think, so cool, because first of all, look, we can just micro nicely, and we can end up trying to snipe these off, and if we get uncomfortable, we just run away. And you know, White Ra is even behind on food. It might look like Zerg is way in the lead at this point, especially considering Zerg has this gold up, has all these spine crawlers up, hasn't gotten any evolution chambers yet, but you know, it makes sense given how early this expansion went down. But what we're going to see is, oh, this Dark Templar stuff is just so glorious. This is just fantastic. What a cute mid-game tactic to follow up with. Knowing our opponent is probably going to be expanding, going to have to make a lot of thin defense, going to have to make a lot of units to be able to deal with all our aggression, and then we just get right in there, no detection whatsoever. And look at this, the 3-pronged attack, blinking up into the high ground, DTs in the middle. Oh yeah, this is unbelievably kick-ass. And just running around everywhere. And I'm still convinced that part of the reason why this big tactic is working so well is because of the amount of pressure that a 2-gate can put on. 1-gate, you know, you're still going to get your expansion up kind of quickly. You're still going to be able to get your 3rd up kind of quickly. Your economy isn't really going to be damaged as much as it is going to be against the 2-gate. God, that Dark Templar plus Blink stuff was amazing. Look at that. In one fell swoop, Machine just like doesn't have any bases anymore. And really hasn't even taken a hit to his army. Maybe he has lost some Dark Templar, but in the meantime, yeah, he can just blink right on home. Yep, see you later. And during all this time, White Ra has kind of accidentally let his money climb up to 2,000. Whoopsie daisies, but Zealots with speed, awesome thing to get. Probably my favorite units in the game. And even thinking about it, getting these Stalkers with Blink, means that you can pop up and shoot down Overseers really easily and then blink away. Because, you know, Stalkers do bonus damage to Armored, and all Overlords are Armored, so you only need like 15 shots or so to take out an Overseer. So that's basically 2 volleys from the pack of Stalkers. You can easily snipe off this Overseer and then let your Dark Templar do serious damage all over the place. Yeah, this Dark Templar is still alive. Oh, God. Brutal. Brutal. And I also think that this play by White Ra could be strengthened even more by going 2-gate and then getting some Stalkers to, you know, poke a little bit more, freak our opponent out more, and then get Blink. I mean, it really opens up your eyes to all the possibilities that you can do just by getting Zealots into Stalkers in some composition early on against Zerg. And White Ra letting his money climb to 3,000, which again is a little bit high. A little bit higher than you would ideally want. A lot of micro going on by White Ra, so I definitely understand he is distracted. But I mean, this group of Stalkers, it almost reminds me of like Vultures in like Brood War. The fact that you always have this active Vulture group that's just popping all around, all over the place. And one significant thing to note is someone could just say, well, I guess you kind of need a default build Overseers every single game then. All Zergs are always going to be looking for ways to cut back on Overseers, because as we can see, or actually as you cannot see, I will actually just minimize this. I'll actually just move this up. I hope you don't mind that you can see the replay bar. But I mean, it costs 100 gas per Overseer, and 100 gas is kind of a lot. That's like the difference between getting an upgrade and then not getting that upgrade. Whoa! What the heck? Oh. Dude, that's awesome. Look, I can make my overlay turn into a GIF of me dancing. I'm actually going to leave that up there for just the time being. Yeah, I'm in a great mood. Yeah, you know what? I actually saved this GIF that this guy made to my computer. Yeah. That's looking fancy, man. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Oh my god! Oh, Jesus! Okay, I'm just closing that. I'm not going to deal with that overlay anymore. Yeah, don't play with your technology mid-cast, folks. But yeah, every single player is going to be looking for ways to cut down on Overseer production. And sure, you could say, yeah, I mean, why don't they just make some Spore colonies? But again, you're basically forcing them to waste more money when you're not really losing anything. You're just getting Stalkers with Blink, and you're getting Dark Templar, which are going to be a useful unit, even if it just is part of your main army. And then, wrapping the game up with my all-time favorite unit of StarCraft 2, the Speed Lot. Excuse me, sorry. It's that puberty making my voice crack yet again at age 24. Puberty 2. Always a difficult trial.